scale drawings, scale up or scale down. This is a digital lesson. It's a lot of fun for the students. They can use the fill color feature of Google Slides to show their drawings. And this is the Christmas version. The lesson starts with explaining what a scale drawing is, and then it gives the students some vocabulary. They're going to need this vocabulary on the final slide, so they can refer back to slide 3 if they need to. They're going to start on slide 4. So here they're given a rectangle shape, and they want to scale it up by a scale factor of 2. So they're going to count the units on each side, and they're going to multiply that number by 2. So here this side is 3. If we multiply by 2, we now have a side that's 6 units across. And we have the side value of 2 units. If we multiply by 2, this will be 4. So they're going to now have a 6 by 4 figure. And in order to do that, they just click and hold in one of the squares, and then they scroll across until they have what they want highlighted. Then they're going to come up to this fill color feature, and they're going to choose any color they like. Now, before we finish this slide, we want to look at what happens to the perimeter. So they're going to count the perimeter of the smaller figure, and they're going to find 10 units. If they count the perimeter of the larger figure, it should be 20 units. And you want to point out to the students that we take the perimeter of the smaller figure or the beginning figure and we multiply by the scale factor. So if we multiply 10 times 2, we get a new perimeter of 20 units. The next shape is a little bit different, a little bit more tricky for the students, and the scale factor is now 3. So each of these sides is going to be multiplied by 3. And they can only highlight a rectangle shape at a time. They can choose, again, any color they like. Make sure they're multiplying every side times 3. And they should have a figure that looks like this. And again, we're going to have them look at the perimeter. The smaller perimeter, again, is 10 units. And this time the scale factor is 3, so the new figure is going to be 30 units. On slide 6, this one you might want to start with the students and have them finish on their own. It's a little bit tricky, but again, the scale factor of 3, so they're going to multiply every side times 3. And to highlight, again, just click and hold in one of the squares. And then scroll across until they have what they want to fill in. And again, they can only highlight a rectangle shape at a time. Now this time we're going to look at the perimeter again. They're going to count around the outside. And they should get 12 units on the smaller figure. And if they multiply by 3, and they can check this, they're going to get 36 units. So just as a recap on the next slide, when the scale factor is 2, the perimeter of the new figure is 2 times the perimeter of the smaller figure. When the scale factor is 3, the perimeter of the new figure is 3 times the perimeter of the smaller figure. Now we're going to look at a little bit different shape, and this time we have a scale factor that's a fraction less than 1. If the scale factor is a fraction less than 1, then our new figure is going to be smaller. So we're going to multiply each of the sides by 1/2 or divide by 2. So if this side is 6 units, we divide by 2, it's now going to be 3 units. And they're still going to have that space in the center also. And they'll have something that looks like this. The next one's a little bit tricky too. You might want to do this one with the students. This one we have an arrow shape, and we're going to reduce it by a scale factor of 1/2. Now, obviously, these diagonal pieces are going to be difficult because we can't count the units, so we're going to start at the bottom. And this bottom measurement is 4 units, and I'm going to divide by 2, and the new distance will be 2 units. And they can just click and hold on these little blue circles at the end, and they can move it wherever they like. So just click and hold on one of these pieces, and then the blue circles they can use to move it. Make it smaller, make it longer, so on. So they might want to play around with that a little bit. Now this measurement on the side is 4 units. We're going to divide by 2, and it's now going to be 2 units. These little side measurements are 2 units. If we divide by 2, they're now going to be 1 unit. Now to find out the tip of the arrow, I'll just fix this just a little bit. Now the tip of the arrow is 8 units from the bottom. So here we're going to count from the bottom. Divide by 2, it'll now be 4 units from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the tip of your arrow will be right here. So all you need to do is connect these pieces. And now we have an arrow shape that's 1/2 the size of the original. And the next thing we want to do is look at the area. What happens to the area when we scale up or scale down? So here we have a 3 by 3 square. The scale factor is 2. We're now going to have a 6 by 6 square. So again, click and hold and scroll across. Choose a color, any color. Now if we find the area of the smaller square or the original square, it's going to be 9 square units. So they're going to type in a 9. The larger figure, 6 by 6, is going to be 36 square units. Now we're not multiplying by the square factor when we're looking at area, we're multiplying by the square factor squared. So 2 squared would be 4, so we multiply the original figure times 4. They're going to do the same thing on the next slide. When they get to slide 12, it's just a recap again. When the scale factor is 2, the area of the new figure is 2 squared, or 4 times the area of the smaller figure. When the scale factor is 3, the area of the new figure is 3 squared, or 9 times the area of the smaller figure, or the original figure. Now when they get to slide 13, they've got some drag and drop vocabulary. You're just going to click and hold on the edge of each one of these and place them in the correct place in the sentence frames. So that is the completed lesson on scale drawings, scale up or scale down, the Christmas version.